referring to the Monterey Shale and fracking, you probably receive countless, pleas from all over the planet, and there's thousands of people nationwide involved and on board in regards to fracking. Now, via way of the 2005 Dick Cheney energy bill, we've seen pretty much the opening of what I refer to as a frack for all fiesta, pretty much coast to coast. And how do you pick one spot to zero in on in regards to fracking, and are you currently engaged anywhere at the local level?
Not yet. We're watching. I mean, fracking's so new and everything's just starting to develop. I mean, we've all seen GasLand and it's fascinating, and I think that was something that created a great deal of awareness. I see it all over, whether it be California, Texas, Ohio, Pennsylvania, upstate New York, North Dakota. They're all coming to us. But it's a situation where there's a couple of factors. The people need to become aware of this, because a lot of them are signing the contracts and their rights and their land and everything away, and they don't know what's gone wrong, and then they're stuck. I mean, it's hard for us to come in legally and fix that because they've signed contracts. What we're trying to do is watch all the communities as they come in and get them organized, and they can effectively kind of push back almost at a local level. We've seen that happen in Texas. One of the first groups that really pushed hard on fracking came up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and they became 5,000, 10,000 members strong, and they started showing up at local city council meetings, and that put these politicians really in a position to have to make some different decisions, and they were pretty effective. And then there's other communities where they don't, and then the companies kind of come in, they frack, they do what they want, and then we start getting phone calls from people, oh my gosh, our wells have run dry, our children are sick, what's going on? And slowly but surely we're trying to come into and ferret out what's really happening in those communities. So it's kind of like a ground zero, and I hate to use that term, but that's what's happening. And I don't know that any of us are going to really be able to recognize or know what to do with the fallout until it's there. But it's coming, because like I said, I'd have to tell you, there's Ohio, there's Pennsylvania, there's portions of Colorado, portions of Nebraska, all over Texas, all over Oklahoma, all over North Dakota, communities screaming, what's going on? And sometimes their hands are tied because they've already signed that paperwork, and the process is like the horse is out of the barn.
Has it made any difference, this case in Wind River, for instance, where the EPA, after all these years, finally admitted that there had been groundwater contamination from fracking, and I think there's a couple other instances of that now, maybe on the East Coast. I mean, has that made any difference from a legal standpoint in some of these battles?
I haven't seen it yet. I mean, it's always... It validates you, but it's frustrating at the same time. Oh, now the EPA. I mean, what would have made the EPA think that this process wouldn't contaminate water? It's nice that they recognize that, okay, but you already let the horse out of the barn, so now what is it we're going to do? We have a huge cleanup. We don't know how far it's gone. We don't know who's been drinking it, who's been affected. So we have to come back in, and sure, it will help legally if that community gets to us and it's in their wells, and we do have sick children, and the EPA has confirmed that fracking did cause that pollution. But it's not the solution. It shouldn't have happened in the first place. We should have been putting more measures in place to stop stuff like that before we got to this situation, because now we have, a degraded population, and then we have degraded water or lack of water, and then you have a degraded community, and then you get degraded, environment, and then we've just created the perfect storm for everything to collapse. And so, look, the EPA, I'm sure, is more overburdened than I possibly would feel in the work that I do. And there's no money, and they're understaffed, but that's my message to communities. I think they feel that the EPA, because they come and make a statement, is going to save them, and nothing's further from the truth. Mm-hmm. And these communities are going to have to start getting really proactive about what's happening in their backyard and take control again of this is my community, my town, my yard, my water, my air, my family, my health, and I'm going to get involved, and I'm not going to wait 10 years for the EPA to catch up and come out here and have that oh crap moment You've been polluted all this time.